elevate the term from survivor to thriver, parent. Pity children who have two narcissistic or toxic parents, and it happens quite often because it can be harrowing. In some cases, the children become de facto parents for themselves, quickly learning to take care of things for themselves or to chronically walk on eggshells. In the absence of any advocate within the home, some children may have the good fortune to have a benevolent grandparent, godparent, aunt, uncle, or other adult stakeholder. Children from the double narcissistic parent household have a steep mountain to climb. The attachment issues raised by this situation can set them up for a range of mental health issues in adulthood. If a child is raised by a single parent and that parent is a narcissist, it can also have the same impact as having two narcissistic parents, because there is nowhere to receive empathy, assurance, consistency, or safety. However, in most cases, the toxic parent is a solo act. It can be the mother or father or stepmother or stepfather. This dynamic can be doubly painful. Not only are the children suffering from the impact of having a toxic parent and all of the fallout that accompanies that, but also they may be witnessing how badly the toxic parent treats the other parent. In some cases, the non-toxic parent is the one who really saves the children by creating an attachment with them, caring for them, and loving them. But that non-toxic parent may also be distracted by the demands of managing the toxic spouse, because he or she will be enduring his or her own form of toxic abuse. Parenting can then go down in one of two ways. In one way, non-narcissistic parents will attempt to protect or advocate for the child, as well as they can and will be present with the child whenever possible. In these cases, it can be frustrating for the child, who deeply craves and values the time with this loving parent and will often come to resent the toxic parent for making all of their lives so miserable. This child may also become resentful and confused about why the loving parent sticks around for the abuse that doesn't end it. In the other way, the non-narcissistic parent who means well is so paralyzed by the toxic partner that he or she is not able to be there for the child as regularly as needed. The toxic parent in some ways becomes like a louder, more problematic child that the other parent needs to deal with mealtimes, vacations, and day-to-day life catering to the toxic parent. In some cases, there can be deep resentment that the non-toxic parent cannot stop giving all of himself or herself to appeasing and taking care of the toxic parent. The relationship with the other parent into adulthood can become quite complex for the children of narcissists, peppered with love and protection, but also ongoing resentment. Resentment about not advocating for them, for keeping them in the toxic situation, for not offering them better explanations when they were children, so they did not blame themselves or their toxic parents for their toxic parents' treatment of them. The damage of a toxic parent on a family system is far-reaching and impacts not only the relationship between the child and the toxic parent, but also the relationship amongst all other family members. When parents divorce and there is shared custody between a toxic narcissistic parent and a non-narcissistic parent, it can be extremely challenging. Odds are that the divorce is contentious and the custody battle arduous, and the time with the toxic parent in the absence of the healthier parent can become quite taxing on the child. Without the protection of the other parent, the toxic parent may become even more abusive or rageful, or may force children quickly into new blended families. Because the narcissists are not good at being alone, they will often quickly jump into new relationships. The fallout of messy custody agreements and growing up in two homes that are run by very different sets of rules is highly destabilizing for a child and fosters a sense of instability well into adulthood. The aftermath of having a narcissistic parent. Not all narcissistic parents are created alike. Some are publicly indulgent and do not respect boundaries well. They are overly invested and involved in their children's lives, or at least superficially, are controlling, and can be critical when the children do not behave the way they want them to. Some are completely disengaged, and the children are viewed at best as nuisances. And the children are viewed at best as nuisances. And it can be even worse with parents being verbally abusive when the children are not exactly as they want them to be. Narcissism and the toxic symptomology associated with it is literally the opposite of the characteristics that make for a good parent. Ultimately, narcissistic and toxic parents miss the boat in providing their children with a sense of autonomy, self-efficacy, self-regulation, connection, attachment, safety, security, and unconditional love and regard. Children who experience this type of parenting often carry a challenging legacy of varied patterns, including self-doubt, guilt, self-devaluation, poor frustration tolerance, and a tendency to try to appease other people, as well as a greater likelihood of choosing partners who tend to be narcissistic and toxic themselves. A chip off the old block. The fact is that narcissistic and toxic parents can and do have children who go on to become narcissistic and toxic adults. If you reflect on Chapter 5, How Not to Raise a Narcissist, you'll remember that ingredients such as not mirroring the child, providing only conditional love, modeling entitlement, and other bad behavior, allowing the child to get caught up in the parent's grandiosity, and providing the child with inconsistent attention are the handiwork of a narcissistic or toxic parent. As a result, narcissist beget narcissist. In some ways, it makes sense. The children do not have an opportunity to learn about their emotional world. They learn they are valued only for superficial qualities and achievements. They are loved conditionally, and they are tremendously insecure. Here's the rub. Odds are, if you are a toxic person or a narcissist, you are not reading this book. However, throughout the years I have worked in this area, I have received countless emails from people and worked with numerous clients who come clean and say, I am a narcissist. I am cold. I am calculating. I lack empathy, and I want to be a better person. They will describe their childhood at the hand of a cold, distant, and toxic parent, mother, father, or both, and will, as an adult, reflect on the damage it has brought to them in their close relationships. Those close to them often view this statement as a manipulation, and it can be. But when I hear that clinically, I inform them that self-reflection and insight are important first steps. If a narcissist is not willing to acknowledge his or her patterns, then you are sunk and nothing can be done, and that it will be an arduous journey. It can be difficult to watch because their narcissism is a challenging, if not impossible, boulder to move. Although they are committed to changing under conditions of stress, loss, and/or insecurity, their typical patterns often kick in. This, then, is a tragic legacy of narcissistic and toxic parenting. It often generates a new generation of narcissists, a new generation hobbled by insecurity, with behavior that harms themselves and other people. As this trend bucks up in our culture and our world at large, this isn't just about larger-than-life politicians and reality TV stars sharing their shameless antics. This is about psychological damage to an entire generation and to those who may come into close contact with them.
If you keep watching this series and thinking, something here feels uncomfortably familiar, that is your discernment waking up. The next step is not another video. It is clarity. The Decision Audit Toxic Parent Edition can provide that clarity. This audit helps you decide whether to keep full contact, limit contact, or step back from a toxic parent, based on evidence, not guilt. You are not deciding how to treat them. You are deciding how much access they get to you. Download the Decision Audit Toxic Parent Edition today. Link in bio